Alright team, so in this one we're going to break down the clean and jerk. I'm using a video from Hookgrip, Mavic Air. I apologise if I've said that name wrong. This kid is 16 years old, which is crazy to me, and he's putting over his head, I can't even think what that is. I think it's about 154 kilos, something around that number. And I believe his body weight is around 61 or something crazy like that. So we'll just have a look at this in full speed and then we'll break it down. Oh, easy work. Nice. So set a position from a clean. What we want bar close to the shins. We want hands just outside shoulder width, allowing the knees to come through. Your width of your grip does depend on you as an athlete. You'll figure out sooner rather than later like where your arms need to be to allow your elbows to fire through quickly. I found that when I first started Olympic lifting, my hands were way too narrow and I moved them out wide and it allowed my elbows to fire through quickly, but that just comes down to, again, you as an athlete, your preferences and obviously your body type if you've got longer levers. And then the rest of my notes we've got. So yeah, bar close to shin, torso angle flat from the bum to the neck, same as a snatch, keeping that alignment. So as you can see on this one, going from his bum up to his neck, nice and flat, there's no arching, there's nothing there. Again, coaching cue, they go classic, chest up. He's keeping himself nice and aligned, and that's an ideal setup there. Feet firmly placed, nice foundation for him to move on. And then as we look into the first pull, he moves up as one, and his knees track back to allow the bar path to come straight up. He's not moving the bar around his knees, so that's just come straight up. His knees have tracked backwards behind the bar to allow it to come straight up. His hamstrings are still engaged, however, compared to the snatch, your hamstrings and your bum are going to rise a little bit quicker, but again, they need to stay engaged. You need to keep your hamstrings and glutes, all your leg muscles as engaged as possible to fire through ready for that second pull. Then when we head into that second pull, there's a change in speed. As the bar pulls in towards the hip, the shoulders go back away and behind the bar to accelerate that pull and emphasize it coming into the hip. And then from there you get hip contact. I'm trying to teach clients now to try and get that bar rattle. Make the bar make noise because you're getting that much contact with it. You listen to any professional athlete and the way that they move the bar, there's always a considerable noise when they make the bar shake and hit the plates because they've come up with that much force and they're putting it through the bar. So then as he comes up, full extension, up on toes, and then it's all about dropping under it, pulling under the bar and getting into that front squat hold position. So elbows fire through there, sits in the bottom, elbows are all the way through, feet are flat. Obviously extremely good mobility with this athlete, he can get into that position, but for you it's all about getting into that bottom front squat position that you're comfortable in and that you can work on. If you aren't comfortable with a heavy front squat and getting out of the hole, you're going to struggle to get a heavy squat clean, so you need to work on that if that's something that you can't quite do. And then stands it up to move into the jerk, uses a little bounce at the bottom, and then what we want there, before we go into the dip, we need to keep that dip going vertically. We don't want the bar moving forward or backwards. If the bar moves forward and your elbow drops, your center of gravity moves and your bar is going to go forward away from you rather than up. If that starts happening, chances are with a heavy load you're not going to get it up because the bar is moving away from you and it's not under your control. From there, so he dips, the bar is going to go straight up, he's going to move his head out of his way, but then as soon as that bar goes away from his head comes back into position, and what that does is that it changes the center of gravity, keeps the bar in the middle of the body, and rather than having his head back behind, he's got it in a secure position, and his shoulders, back behind his head in a strong catch position. His feet are out in their ideal end stance, front foot flat, nicely placed, and then from there, just to dismount, brings one foot forward, front foot forward, back foot back together, and that's the end of the lift. So those, again, elite athlete, elite level athlete, showing you how to clean and jerk. For general CrossFit athletes, those of you who are partaking it, just weekend warriors, or if you just partake a couple of classes a week, your technique's not going to look like that, but the things that you can draw upon, looking at these cues, looking at how he's set up and the different ways, the different methods between each pull, between the first and second pull, using the hip contact as much as you can, keeping yourself engaged. See if there's something that you can translate across to your lift. Is there something that you've now realized, oh, I'm not doing that, and see if you can relate that into your next lift. If you have any questions about Olympic lifting, or you'd like to become my online client to work on your Olympic lifts, drop me a message on whatever social media you find me on, or head to my website, jstraining.co.uk.